All right, everyone. Well, today is a red day recap. This marks the end of what has been a 22-day consecutive green streak. Really an impressive run through the whole month of July. The last red day for me was actually at the end of June on June 27th. So I'm sitting here in the red. It's coming up till, well, it's about 11:30 right now, but I have a hard stop today at noon. And even though there may be opportunities later in the day, I have something I'm doing with my kids and I've got to leave here at noon. So, it's summertime. Like a lot of traders who have a family, my schedule sometimes during the summer is not going to allow me to trade the full day. And that's all right, because the fact is right now, the volume is so light today. We had some opportunities earlier, which I fumbled and went red on. And now at this point, as much as I might want to try to recoup my losses and finish in the green, there is nothing to trade, at least in terms of small caps. And that's actually sort of was my moment that I said, you know what, it's time to walk away. Because I started looking at Tesla and Nvidia and I was like, you know what, no. This is desperation. Now you're getting desperate just to try not to be red. And it's not a big deal to have red days. Let's call it a successful red day. So let me break down for you how the day went. Started in the green, flipped from green to red, and actually went right down to my max loss before recovering and recouping about 2/3 of the loss. All right, so let's jump into the screen share here and start breaking it down. So these are my metrics here. That was my last red day back there in, June. So that was on June 27th. All right, so that was my last red day. For some reason, my drawing tool is not working. This has been happening a little bit recently. Okay, there it goes. So June 27th, that was my last red day. All right, so today, let's see. Yeah, I just saw SPGC hitting the scanners, but this is another example of a stock that is so light on volume. It's got big spreads. It's just not tradable. Okay, so the P&L today, here's the big reveal, sitting down $1,971.44. All right, it's not a big red day. It's tolerable. Is it disappointing? Yeah, it's disappointing to end a green streak. It's disappointing to start the first day of the new month in the red. But at the end of the day, the loss is, I would say, relatively negligible. It's very manageable. And even if I look at where I sit on the week, I was up, I think, 22,000 on the week coming into today. So, giving back 10% of that off the top, it's not bad. But it's a little discouraging. Okay, so how did the day start? Well, we're going to go back to the very beginning of the day, which actually, interestingly enough, my first trade was pretty early on BBLG. BBLG became my nemesis today. This stock and I are not friends. This was a very frustrating stock for me to trade. I started the day, first trade on this one was actually, let's see, it was at 641. So I got in right here. I thought this is like starting the day so bad. So we have this pullback, and I saw this and I was like, okay, we've got a flat top, and I got in at 320 for the break through this flat top. It goes to 322, and then it drops here all the way back down to 3, and I stopped out for a $900 loss on my first trade. So lost 20 cents a share on 5,000. I think it was 20 cents a share, something like that. So red 900 on my first trade. So actually, now that I think about it, I started the day red and I'm finishing the day red. I forgot about this. It was early. Definitely, it's true that we had 3 topping tails in a row. I think I was just eager to jump in it because it was the leading percentage gainer. And I was like, all right, we've got something moving. I'm going to jump in quick. But it just ended up, reversing back down. And then it rallies back up here to 320. And when it rallied back up here, I got back in and I got a little trade here. And that was actually that right there was my best trade of the whole day. That flipped me from red 900 to green about 900. All right. So now I'm green $900, which is good, but nothing crazy. And after that, this thing just became a monster. It was grinding. It was so slow. It had such a hard time pulling away. I kept buying breakouts and giving back profit. But looking for a breakout, giving back profit. Taking a breakout, giving back profit. I mean, I feel like this one just really was intense. And coming into the open, I got myself frustrated because somewhere in here, I don't remember which one it was, but one of these breakouts I bought, and it drops down, and I ended up giving back all the profit that I had at that point, and I guess I was up like 200 on the day, and I was just like, unbelievable, this thing is insane. So I end up getting back in right about here as it's curling off this yellow support line. And I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to get in here with 20,000 shares, and let's just see if this thing, finally starts to pull away. And I held it into the open, and then at the open, it dumps all the way down, as you can see, to 330. So on that trade, I lost $6,000. That's actually one of my biggest losses that I've had recently. I shouldn't have been taking that much share size, considering I was basically break even on the day. I was getting emotional, and after I lost, I almost flipped my desk upside down. I was so upset. I was like, unbelievable, this is crazy. How am I wrong on every single trade I'm taking on this stock? Which is an exaggeration because I did have a couple winners, but I got really, really frustrated. So that put me in the red. Now, my daily max, so let's see. Now I had a couple of trades here that were winners. I had MDJH, I had IVP, LSH, and then I'm red on BMEA and NRSN. So I was down 7,000. Let's see, it was right about $7,430. And I have my max loss set on my account right now at 7,500. I put it a little bit higher at 7,500. And the reason I did that was because in the last couple weeks, we've seen so much volatility and I've had so many really big green days. I thought it was not impossible that I would have a day where I dipped down below 5,000 and was still able to recover. So you can see right here, this is the max loss set on my account, $7,490. All right. So if my P&L is below that, I cannot trade. I'm actually locked out of my account. So that's my max loss right there. Now, so I'm sitting down darn close to the max loss. And, at that point, maybe the right decision is just to stop trading entirely. Usually if I am down more than 5,000, I am emotionally activated. That was the case today. So my sort of self-awareness was not super solid. I had the loss on BBLG, and then I had a loss on NRSN. This one hit the scanners, had news, got in at $1, goes up to $1.20, dumps down to 95 cents, or 93 cents, whatever it was, took the loss on that. BMEA, this one hits the scanners, starts to look like it's going to pull away. Big dump, as you could see right here, right there, just garbage. So it's like trade after trade after trade. Today, the writing was on the wall. But you'll see my biggest winner was on WINT, which is kind of interesting. This stock into the close yesterday squeezed up, and I was like, what was the catalyst? Does anyone know why this thing squeezed up here? And everyone was like, no, there wasn't news. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I was like, well, let me look at something. So I pull up the short interest. I pull up, let's see, Ortex here. And I'm just like, well, let me just check the short interest on this thing. So go WINT, just like let's just see if that's why it's up so much. So you click on shorts. So I open this up and I see that the short interest for today is 47%. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That's pretty high. So we've got, not insignificant short interest on this thing. Now, the short interest on Fintel and like Finviz is going to be lower because their short interest typically is going to be delayed by a couple weeks. But on this platform here, what they pride themselves in is that their short interest is updated daily. So this is a tool that a lot of traders use during GameStop, short squeeze and stuff to see what was the current short interest. So it's showing a short interest of 47%, as you can see right here. And it shows the cost to borrow has gone up 500%. The utilization is at 99.87%. And the score is 81 out of 100. So what I checked, when I looked on my platform, I was like, well, are there shares available? and it showed that there were shares available, but they were about 20 cents a share to borrow, which means to borrow 10,000 shares would have cost, $1,800, $2,000. I think it was 18 and a half cents, something like that. So I was like, okay, short interest is reporting as being high. It's expensive to borrow. This is interesting. So had it on a side chart and didn't take any trades on it pre-market. It was just like, it's on a side chart. And then at the open, all of a sudden it starts to squeeze up right here. So all of a sudden it squeezes up 950 up to 1016, and it halts up. And I'm like, wow, here we go. All right. So I know some of you guys jumped on it at the very beginning of this move as it broke $9 right here, which was the spot that I was watching, but I didn't get in at 9. I sort of missed it. So I chased it as it squeezes up. It opens at 11.25. It dips to 10.50. It squeezes up to over $12. I think my best exit on this, let me see. My best exit was $11.99. $11.99, not bad. Now I did add at $11.88 for the trade over 12, but in any case, $11.99 is still a pretty good exit there. So that ended up giving me a nice win. But here's the thing. I was hoping that it would hold right here, maybe go to a second halt, or at least hold for the next leg up, considering the short interest is as high as it is reported to be. So when it pulled back here on heavy selling volume, I was like, no, that's not what I like to see. So now we're below volume weighted average price, and I've given up on it. So that was WINT. IVP, this one, ended up making $370 on it. You could see it sort of squeezed up here. Had a couple trades on it. First one was a loss. Second one was a winner. Squeezed up here, but then dropped back down. It's coming back up now. MDJH, this one, what's going on here? This was another one that I was, sort of watching, but, it just felt today like it was kind of unreal. Like the volume was just so light across the board. I mean, there wasn't a lot of buying behind these moves. There's little pops here and then like that was it. So unfortunately, at this point now, it's 11:45. I'm down $1,900, and even no matter how hard I try right now, trading small caps, right now in the last 2 hours, there hasn't been anything that I could really, sink my teeth into and get a nice win on. And so it sort of begs the question of why is it so important that today not be a red day? Why is that so important to me? Why might it be so important to you? You might feel the same way. Well, because it's the beginning of the month. I don't want to start the month with a red day. Okay. Or, well, I've been on a 22-day consecutive green streak. I really want to continue it. Okay. I hear all of that. But at the same time, you have to trade the market you're in. And the market today is not that strong. And I'm red, which is a reflection of that. And in some ways, my loss is really unnecessary because I didn't need to lose $6,000 on BBLG. I could have stopped out of that sooner. I didn't have to hold it into the open, and I shouldn't have taken that much size. So I flew a little too close to the sun today, and I got burned. I took a little too much risk. I got a little too aggressive. I got stubborn. I got frustrated. And, this is what happens. If you're not able to be disciplined every single day, you're going to have days like this. And this is not a day that really is a good exercise in discipline. I went from red to green, back to red. I just started taking too big a size. So today's a day where if I was going to give an honest reflection of my emotional or kind of like, ability to maintain discipline, today is like a bad grade. Today was not a great performance for me in that respect. And I'm glad that I'm down only 1,900 because I could be down a lot more. Days like today where, you start taking really big size and things are slow, you're buying at the ask, you're selling at the bid, you're getting slippage, big spreads because the volume's light. These are days where I could have gone from down 7,500 to down 10 grand. I could have easily been down 10,000 today with the way I was trading. And that would have been disappointing because of course, that would have been a much bigger red day and I would have been giving back half of my profit on the week. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But this also, has to be a little bit of a wake up call for me to slow down and pump the brakes because, the market has been really hot for the last month, but yesterday was a bit slow, right? Yesterday, I think pretty sure I went red and then recovered to green. It was a small green day, very small green day by the end of it. And now today, an actual red day. So for sure, if we look at my P&L over the last, let's see, we'll pull up Trader View here. So look at Trader View here, just these last few trading sessions. You can see, the green days are obviously getting smaller, right? So, not that yesterday was that, but, well, actually, this might not be, what is this? I don't think that's yesterday. That's the 30th. Maybe I haven't gotten I thought I did import the 31st. There it is. Okay, sorry. Just had to refresh it. So, right? So sort of green days getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And today, boop, we're going to have a red day. Now, this red day back here was $1,400. So today's $1,900. So in terms of, size of the loss, it's a negligible loss. I stayed around because I kind of felt like, well, maybe at this point there'll be a couple more trades. Even if I only make 200 on that one or 400 on the next one, it'll just help me cut my loss down a little bit more. What I don't want to do is take big size on anything right now because that could flush me all the way back down to low a day. But a couple of small little chipping away trades to make my way back to green, or just cut the loss a little bit more, I think that could be okay. But but realistically, there's nothing to trade, and it's getting to a point of sort of scraping the bottom of the barrel and grasping for straws. And when you start getting desperate like that, you're trading your P&L, really. You're not trading the market. You're trading this number right here. Because as soon as I would be up 1,000, I would stop trading, right? So if that's where you're at, you're trading your P&L, not the market. And that's going to it's just not a good habit to be in. So yeah, so anyways, today's a red day. If we look back at the last 90 days here, these red days, 5,800, 87, 8,900, 6,300, 9,000, these ones are a little bit bigger. So keeping the red days 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, that's fine. That's not, it's not a big deal. I would rather not have that red day, but in the grand scheme of things, you're going to have red days, and the best thing you can do is keep the losses tight, not overstay your welcome. So, that's where I sit here today. Grateful that I didn't hit and go below my max loss and get myself locked out of the account. I did go below 5,000, which was unrealized. Well, I guess it was realized, but it was deeper red than I've been any day since June. I don't know. Actually, the last day I went down 7,000. Maybe, I guess it was June 6th. It's been almost 2 months since I went down that far in one day. So grateful that I recovered it, but most of it. But, we're up here at the very top of this sort of equity curve. We might need to pull back for a couple of days. If the market's going to slow down, I just have to kind of hold tight and keep my head above water and really try to maintain that discipline to not take unnecessary risk. So, today, I think one of the mistakes I made was that I started trading with size that was a little too big, a little too early. I flipped from red to green, and so during the month of May, especially, and June, I was much more disciplined about every single day not trading with more than 5,000 shares until I was up $1,000, right? I was like, once I get myself up $1,000, I can take big size. But until then, 5,000 max position size. But when things were so hot during July, I was sometimes on my first trade, I would be in with 5,000 or 7,500 shares, like just a little heavier. And I'd be up 1,500 on the first trade. And immediately on the second trade, I was unlocking to full size. So what I typically do in my trading platform here is I actually can set, let's say I can go into trading and I can set a max share size. And so I set it here now for 7,500 for tomorrow, just to limit myself to 7,500 until I'm up over $1,000. Now 5,000, I could do 5,000, but I've been trading. Oh, let's put it at 5,000. Look, today was a red day. I don't want 2 red days in a row, and tomorrow's Friday. So I'll set it to 5,000. Once I'm up over, and I'll save this. So I'm going to log out, save my layout. And then when I log back in, it's going to be capped at 5,000. What I was doing for the month of July was I just took this cap off. So I didn't have a cap in there. And I was just limiting myself to 5,000, 7,500 shares on the first couple trades. But I didn't have to come into the settings and change, take away 5,000 and change it to like, 50,000 or something each day, because it was happening so quick that I would have my first trade. And the next thing you know, it was like, okay, we've got something squeezing. I didn't want to take the time to come in and change these settings every single day. So yeah, during July, I was much more aggressive, but the problem with that is, when you've got to buckle down and kind of tighten up the risk, that's the hard part, is putting your foot back on the brake when it's time to slow down. I'm good at stepping up to the plate when it's time to step up. You can obviously see that from my P&L here through the month of July. The market was hot and I stepped up to the plate big time. What I'm not as good at is taking my foot off the gas when it starts to slow down. And the result is that after big green days, I often have big red days like these ones here, right? And now this one's a bigger red day that wasn't really following a big green day, but it's very common. Big green day, overconfidence, too aggressive, big red day, right? I just get too aggressive. Now, I'll say that being aggressive, generally speaking, has been a really positive trait for me. And I think it is for most traders. You have to be willing to take risk. You have to be aggressive in order to capitalize on the volatility in the market, especially as a momentum trader, where a lot of these stocks were buying high, selling higher, just so in the zone, actively trading them. And it served me really well during COVID, pandemic, lockdown. 2020, best year of my career, far and away. 2021, GameStop, insane. 2022, another good year, but it was tapering. 2023, dead slow. 2023 was such a slow year. And I got to a point where if I didn't size down and just get okay with, chipping away at these base hits, I was just going to be red probably every month of the year. So, I had to adjust, I had to pivot. And so I had to get good at putting my foot on the brakes. Now you can see this is my performance by year here. So 16, 17, 18, and then crushed it for like 2 years here. Came down a little bit in 2022. 2023 was low. And now 2024, I've already made more than I made in all of 2023. And it's August 1st. So now 2024 is shaping up to come back up to here, which is, back in line with kind of this type of market. This was an anomaly market where we had higher volume than I had ever seen before. It was absolutely insane. And so I did the right thing by being really aggressive and capitalizing on it. But, it's not realistic that that's going to keep up forever. And of course it didn't. Again, though, that aggressiveness has served me well, but I've struggled to be able to sort of slow down and take my foot, off the gas. So 2023, had a red month there in March, not too bad. 2022, these are good months. I really can't complain about any of this too much, but, of course, 2021 and 2020 were really, really good. But 2019 was also, a couple red months. So anyways, it doesn't really, I guess the point at the end of the day is that I understand what it's like to struggle with slowing down after it's been hot, but I think it's a really important skill for all of us to work on, because the markets, it's just not always going to go straight up, right? We're going to have pullbacks and we're going to have times where trading is going to be more difficult. So if you're not able to adapt your strategy to a colder market, you're definitely going to get yourself into trouble. I think I've done a great job adapting when it's hot, but adapting when it's cold is not as easy. So right now I'm challenged in a way because, it's cooling off a little bit. Today was the first day of August. It's a red day. Tomorrow's second day of August, and it's a Friday. To be honest, I don't like it when months start on a Thursday and a Friday, but I'm not going to make like the excuse like that's not why I had a bad day. But I just don't like it because typically we have really good news that comes out at the beginning of the week. So I'm more likely to get a really good start on a month when the first day is like on a Monday or a Tuesday. But starting on a Thursday or first day on a Friday, you just don't usually get great opportunities. The good news is I'm down 2 grand, right? Plus some commissions, whatever. I'm down on the day, I'm red, but realistically, we have one strong stock tomorrow. Boom. I'm back to flat on the month, and I'm kind of like this. These first 2 days are a wash, and at this point, that would be fine if these first 2 days are a wash. Now, if we end up having some really good opportunities, then who knows? Tomorrow could end up being another day where I double my daily goal, and I'm teaching you guys a full-length class right here on YouTube, like I did, I don't know, 5 times during the month of July. I hope that happens for your sake and for my sake. It may not, but this is just the thing. We show up every single day. We trade the market we're in. When the market's cold, ease off the throttle. I should have waited in the tall grass and hunkered down. I got too aggressive. I got stubborn. I got frustrated. And that's my own fault. You do that and boom, you're going to get spanked for it. And that's that reminder. Okay, I've got to get disciplined. I've got to tighten up my risk. Right? I mean, if we didn't get that sort of punishment of the market giving us those losses, we wouldn't know that we need to sort of make a change. So tomorrow, I'll approach things a little differently than I did today, certainly in response to what we have on the scanners. If we don't have anything that looks good and it's a really slow day, then I'm going to trade with much smaller size. I'm going to trade just less period and try not to have, another big red day. I mean, not that this is a big red day, but I certainly don't want to have a second red day that's, 5,000 or 7,000 tomorrow, especially if the market's cold. I don't mind having a red day when it's like the market's really hot, you took risk, but there was big potential. But a red day on a day like today feels like an unforced error. It just feels stupid. It feels totally unnecessary. And that's what really gets under my skin. So anyways, it's a red day recap. It is what it is, but I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. And I'm going to hope that we have some better opportunities on the scanners. But considering the price action of today, the price action yesterday, and the fact that tomorrow is a Friday, well, I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to set my expectations too high. So I'm going to assume tomorrow's going to be a slow day. If I can, get a couple of decent trades and make my way up, $1,000 with 5,000 share positions, maybe I'll size up a little bit after that, maybe finish at 1,500, 2,500 if it's a slow day and I can manage my risk. Today was a slow day and it could have been a $2,000 green day or $3,000 green day. Slow days don't have to be red days. It's kind of up to you at how you trade them. I traded a slow day in the worst possible way today, so that loss is on me. All right, that's it for me. This is a good reminder, as always, that trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk, take it slow. And if you guys haven't already, hit that thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. I hope you do that. I've got a lot of episodes coming soon on trading strategy. And if you haven't checked out some of my recent uploads, I hope you go ahead and check those out. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'll see you for the next episode real soon.